Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Anyhow, today we are making some discussion. My name is د.بليغ اليزيدي, and we have our guest today, Mr. Abdalfatah محمد. Now, to give you some kind of a small background about Abdalfatah, he's an interpreter. He speaks 4 languages. He speaks Swahili, he speaks English, he speaks Somali, and he speaks Paramani, and he speaks a little bit of Arabic. He can read Arabic very well. He's not just, he doesn't speak it anyhow. This is just a background about him. About me, I'm just a physician, that's it. And we was talking about a small subject. This subject entailing why it's so hard to reach the communities with information or knowledge or whatever. Like why is presenting the information is not enough. To see a couple of clips from the internet, how comedians will give some kind of simple information that everybody knows, and they will shock the people with the logical. Now, going from there, Mr. Abdalfatah said to me an interesting thing. Now, I had never heard it before. Maybe I know the idea in general, but I never heard it in this way. He said, the problem of our generation. Oh, wait. I would like him to speak, but I want to present not the idea, to present some kind of a summary of it, because he can elaborate more. He's presenting or proposing, let me say, what is the proper way to advance the new generation. Like a lot of the people say, wallahi, we don't have the chances that the older generation have. The older generation is saying that you have internet and you have everything, why you are not advancing like us. So it's a controversial issue between the 2 generations. In his proposal, actually, he's suggesting 3 generations. So I will give them the mic for him, and you may listen to him and what he have to say.
Balik, thank you so much for this opportunity, and to the viewers who are listening to us. And I was trying to say this, in my generation, the millennials have the best opportunity that the generation before us didn't have. And the point I'm trying to make is this: my generation have what other generations didn't have, and it is the technology. So they have at their fingertips every information they need to advance their objectives. They have at their fingertips their parents, the generation before them, to seek advice and learn from their experience. Also, they have their grandfathers, the generation before their fathers, who have the wisdoms and everything. So the opportunity I'm talking about is what they have at their fingertips, and they are not using it probably, in the right way, if I may say it. But they don't have the drive to use these opportunities to advance their goals, to let them go places. Instead, they are blaming each other. So the root cause is this: my youth don't have the drive. They must have this anger for searching knowledge. They must have this drive in them to turn back to their parents and grandfathers and use technology in the right way.
Thank you for the explanation, but let me ask the question here. A lot of the listeners will say, for example, okay, Mr. Abdalfatah, maybe what you have presenting is theoretically true. It's a good idea. Like, get the benefit of the new age, get the let's say medium experience from the older generation and the profound experience from the older generation.
Yeah.
But here's the question, and I think a lot of our listeners will ask you, how are you gonna make this practical? Because sometimes the answers is not easy. You have to get the drive, as you have suggested. If you don't have the drive for search, you will never get the answer. This is simple and this is understandable. But I'm merely asking you, do you have some kind of suggestion for our listeners?
For me, I will speak from experience. I will speak about me. I was same as the other youths. I never knew what I have until recently. And this is what I mean. I have technology, but everybody is talking about the negativity of the technology we have. But I ask myself, you have technology, you can Google anything instantly. So and then I said to myself, what about the generation before me? What it took them to get the knowledge they wanted to obtain? And then something came to my idea. Like generation before me, if they want to search something, if they want to learn something, they had to go to the library if they had one. After they reach the library, they go through shelves to locate one book. After they locate the book, they go through hundreds of pages only to get to one page. And then after they get to the page, they go through paragraphs only to find one information. So you can see, the challenges they have and what we have today, my generation, the millennial. So I realized that my generation have everything they need to become better and version of themselves. So my point is very easy. What I'm trying to say is this: they have to know what they have so that they compare to the other generation what they didn't have, the blessings they have, the privilege they have. After they know the privilege they have, they can think of you. First they know what they.
So in this small speech, in this small interview with Mr. Abdulfatah, I'm trying to summarize the ideas here, because we talked before we called the session, and he have mentioned a lot of things, but he said just think for me that maybe if they lacking the primary drive and they don't know what they have, how could they establish something? So let's put it in that way. This is only a primary call from me and my friend Abdulfatah to engage in a discussion. You see, all the generations of fathers or our grandfathers have their problems that come from the atmosphere, the condition that shape and reshape their lives. And we are always in a blaming, as he said, we are in blaming wall between them and us. But we have, as youth, to acknowledge that we don't know the true capability that is in our hands. And before we can go to the next step and try to get benefit from the experience that our fathers and our grandfathers, we have to start with ourselves first. Otherwise, this is only theoretical talking. There was no practicality from it. Now, I would thank Mr. Abdulfatah for accepting this small interview. I will thank you for listening, and maybe I will leave the last word for Mr. Abdulfatah.
D.Beliغ, thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to the youth. And what I'm trying to say is this: I'm talking to every youth out there that you have what it takes to become your best version of yourself. Do not waste your time on Facebook, Snapchat, blogs, Instagrams, where it's not relevant to your potential. Because on social media, it's not the shakers and movers. It's not where decision is made. It's not where knowledge is produced. It's only where useless things are portrayed, fake things are fueled. So use the other part of the technology. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you everybody.